So, hello guys, yeah, welcome to today's podcast. Today, I'll be hosting one of the most interesting figures over here in this beautiful country, and who happens to be a student of our great school. He's seen by many to be Pogi or Guapo in the local parlance, and I will introduce him. You guys will get to know him and know him better. But before we proceed, I would like you guys to subscribe, share, like, and comment under this video. So, guys, are you ready to welcome one of the most foggy guys? Are you ready? So, let's get into it. So, let us invite our guest for today, and we would like our guest to introduce himself to you guys too. So, our dear guests, yeah, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here today.
So I think everybody must be wondering who you are, and I would like you to introduce yourself, tell them who you are, your likes, where you are from, and what you are studying.
Well, my name's Ekene Paul, Nigeria. I studied in Lyceum Northwest University in Pangasinan, Dagupan. Well, my likes is that I like when people come clean and transparent. And my dislike is when people pretend to be what they are not. Yeah,
That's great. So in other words, what it means is that you don't like it when people are being fake.
exactly.
You like it when people are being very real,
Yeah.
and that is very very great. So why are you here in the Philippines?
Well, my main purpose of being here in the Philippines is actually to study and nothing else.
Yes, studying.
Yeah.
So what one would want to ask? What are you studying here?
Well, I am studying information technology in Lyceum.
Okay, that's great. Majority of the foreign students in this country, they prefer to study medical courses, but this seems a bit different and a bit strange. And according to him, he's studying something not medically related. He's into tech. He's a tech guy, perhaps the next Elon Musk. So we would like to find out from him, why are you not choosing the path of medicine or anything medical related but tech?
Well, it all started from my country. I used to be a medical student, definitely, but the world is changing gradually, and things are changing. So at first, I was thinking, well, since the world is changing and everything is changing, I really want to be someone who have lifestyle and other stuff. And I discovered that I'm passionate about things like business. So actually, it was about studying in medicine university, but I actually ignored the invitation because I passed the exam. Because in my country, before being a medical student, you have to take several exams, which I did pass. But then I decided not to being in the medical field after reading a book called The Millionaire Fast Lane. So I discovered the guy was an IT guy, and I myself is also driven to become a millionaire just how he was. So I said, okay, instead of me studying IT, actually at that moment I actually made up my mind that I wouldn't go to school anymore. But my parents still insisted. I said, okay, rather instead of me going to school to study medicine, I would rather switch to a different profession, which is information technology, because the world is changing. We are getting into advanced age of technology. So and the lifestyle of tech people into tech like is actually quite easy and friendly once you know what you're doing. So from there I said okay myself that maybe I should go into tech, since I'm more tech related. I love business, different stuff, tech stuff that I can't really say right here on the interview.
Okay. So, does it feel so weird for you knowing that almost every foreigner you know here are not doing what you are studying to? Does it feel lonely at times?
Well, it's not really lonely because it makes me to believe that I'm actually ahead of time, because if everyone is doing what I'm doing, then I think there is no difference. and there will be lots of competition. So since I'm among the few people who's doing it in this country, shows that not everyone know the value of being into information technology, like the value of being into tech, to being a tech pro. So I think it's going to give me an edge in the future.
Okay, that's great. So ever since you came here, what would you say about the Philippines? What has the experience been so far like here in this country?
Well, I've had several experience, but I think you have to like what part of the experience, because I've had a lot of experience, you
So
know.
what do you think about the people here?
Well, you know, the people are very diverse. Like everyone has different personality and other stuff. But I would say when you talk about the people, there are most who are extremely good people and also some people who I've met not really that great, full of envy, jealousy, because to the point of why would you be envious of a foreigner? I'm just a foreigner, so it doesn't really make sense. But still, the fact I've met some amazingly great people too here in the Philippines. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's just different.
yeah, that's cool. So in other words, what he's trying to say is that he's not trying to paint people here very bad. He's just trying to say that in every society that you get to, you will likely meet people that will give you ugly experiences and good
Exactly.
experiences. And he seems to have had both shares of such experiences. So, what about the school? What do you think about your current school now?
Well, my current school is actually nice. You know, filled with different foreigners. I'm not the only foreigner there, so it's actually quite like broad, not just Africans, not just Indians, not just Filipinos. It's filled with different ethnic country, different country in general. So I think it's quite amazing.
That's
Yeah.
good. So, what are some of the biggest cultural shocks you had when you came here?
Well, the first one was that I when I first came to this country, I discovered that the moment you start talking to a girl, the moment you start talking to a girl, they all assume you are interested in that girl, or that's your girlfriend, or you're already in a relationship with her, which is it's like not really supposed to be so. Because in my country, everyone is free to talk to whoever you want to be, and there's no mindset attached. I can talk to any girl as a friend, but there will be no mindset attached that, oh, that's his girlfriend. We are free to talk to anybody you want to talk. And also other cultural shock is, the atmosphere is quite really really hot. Like, you know whenever I'm sweating, I always ask my friends, like, don't you feel the heat? Like, don't you sweat? And they don't really sweat. But I know the reason why, because of their skin adaptation and every other biological stuff. But I think it was actually part of my cultural shock, because the first day I stepped out, I was really surprised. It was extremely hot.
That's good. That's good. So, any other form of cultural shock so far?
They are really quite a lot, which my brain I can't really think at the moment right now. But with time, if there is more to say, I will definitely dive into that.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think his earlier concern or his earlier cultural shock, like he made mention, which is the way girls behave when guys try to be friendly with them. I think it's something that almost every foreigner has experienced so far. So we are not in any way trying to bash them or try to ridicule them. We try as much as possible to also understand that this could be how they are. Like he pointed earlier, where most of us come from, the opposite sex can freely interact without anyone having any amorous thoughts for the other. But when you come here, when you try to be cool or be friendly with them, they might think this guy is trying to hit on them
Yeah,
or
it's trying to ask me out of
trying
that.
to ask me. Yeah. But
Yeah,
an advantage is that maybe they might not really understand that for us, we come from a place of love. Our families, we were trained with love. We are trained to be friendly with people, and we wish is something that they can also understand. too. Now, so far, what would you say? This conversation now, I would like us to turn and look at the camera and discuss this. What would you say is the difference between girls from your country and girls from here? What differences have you observed so far?
Well, one thing I noticed is that in my country, the girls, in terms of interaction, the girls is fine to interact with other guys, but in this country, once a girl has a boyfriend, I think the boyfriend actually give a lot of restriction for me to even conversate fairly with others, which is kind of like close off, like it's like turning human into a robot, which is not supposed to be so. I believe there's always a boundary, but there's a certain boundary that's supposed to be attached in everything. But in this scenario, is that it's too close off, and when there's no room for socialization, there will be ignorance and different variety of issue. So socialization is something that everyone need to encounter to understand each other, because everybody has different personality type, and I myself also have a different personality type that you yourself might not even know about me, and if you don't socialize with me, you won't never know. So that's how it is.
Yeah, that's good.
But and the guests in our country, they always socialize, they are free around. Why also the guests in this country, um, they always feel like, in my country, when a guy when a guy starts having a conversation, they will like want to know what the guy is like after. But in this country, they already have it in back of their mind that, oh, okay, he's trying to ask me out now. Sometimes I can go to a girl like, oh, excuse me, please. I would want to ask something. The girl's already thinking I want to ask her out. Like, I don't know why. So it's actually a mindset shift, very, very different from my country, from the girls, especially from the one we have encountered in our country, the way the girls act compared to the way Filipino girls act. Yeah, but I don't believe it's wrong. It's just that a cultural shock is always a cultural shock.
That's cool. So, what about Filipino men? What are your thoughts about guys in this country so far?
Oh, well, they don't really socialize that much. I don't know. To my own point of understanding, they are always like too calm. There are few socialize a lot, but most of them are really too calm. That sometimes you would also want to be as calm as them, so you don't do too much. Because if you try to act, they said, what did they say? They say if you go to Rome, you behave like the Rome. So I can't really come here and behave like the way I behave from my country. So I need to adjust and make some changes. But one thing I understand about the guys in Philippines is that they are so calm. They barely conversate to girls they don't know. They must know a girl before they interact with them. They are always closed off and many other things. And also, um, they'll what am I going to say next? I think that's all for now. That's all for now.
Yeah, that's cool. So, what if a girl should approach you now and ask you, "Do you date for fun or do you date to marry?" What would be your response to the girl? Do you date to marry or do you date for fun?
Well, I would say I date for relationship. I also to know the girl personally, because I don't think dating for fun is really my kind of thing, because I don't really see it that way.
So, hello guys. So, I believe you guys are getting to understand who he is. He doesn't date for fun. He dates with a purpose.
Yeah.
So, which in other words, it erases the perceptions that some people here might have about foreigners, because they believe that most foreigners are chick boys or barberos.
Yeah, the Frank is that they always see me, they always like sometimes I do talk to some people, they always have they always have it that I'm like a playboy, I don't know. So even when I was talking to, a friend today, like I told him, I was telling him that most girls I talk to, they always think I'm a playboy. And he was like, yeah, I look like one. I was like, whoa, like, how is a playboy supposed to look like? See, sometimes you don't judge a book by the cover, like they said. That's why I said earlier that socialization is actually important. So you can know the personality of that person, because if you judge something based on how you perceive it, you might be wrong, and you might be miss out on that person entirely point of view. And also, you can be interacting with different girls, and all of them will say, "Oh, that guy is a playboy. I saw him talking to that girl." Perhaps I don't have that intention. Only just want to socialize because this is not my country. I left my home and I'm seeing new people. And for me to understand those people, I need to socialize. I can't understand those people without socializing with them. And the only way is that I need to socialize to know them. And also from socialization, which I have a lot of friends from, which are Filipinos, definitely Arab, Indians. From socialization, I learned to understand more about them, that this is how they behave, and not every Filipino also act like this, and not every Indians also act like this. So this generalization is always cut off when you socialize with people to get to know them even more.
Okay. I don't know if our viewers are able to see what I'm saying right now, but for me, if you look at him, there's a shirt that he's wearing underneath. Can you show our viewers the shirt
Oh,
and explain to them what this shirt is all about? Maybe you can get closer to the camera and show them, and
well, this is for Mr. and Mrs.
you can see that nice one.
This is for Mr. and Mrs. Lyceum, Nota West University. It's for participation of pageants for to become either a Mr. or a Mrs. of Lyceum Nota West University. So I am one of the candidates there in my school.
So great. So he's one of the contestants for the Mr. and Mrs. International 2024. And I would just want to let you guys know that I was a contestant last year.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, I was unable to get the top prize. So, hopefully, we are praying that he will represent us this year and be able to win the crown and bring it home for us. That is what we are saying. So, for those that live within the vicinity or are students of the school, I'd like you to vote for him. And on the said date, come and cheer him on. Has the date been announced? Any
Not yet,
Not
still
yet.
unknown, but I believe next 2 weeks.
Yes, please. So that is it. And I also want you guys to know that he's also a model. It clearly shows in him. So I hope you guys have come to understand him today. And I also want to announce to you guys that he's going to be a mainstay for our channel. We'll be inviting him often to our channel here. He'll be having conversations with Filipino girls so that we can be sharing male and female perspectives about relationships. And we can also be trying to see ways we can help each other. So you're going to be seeing him often in this channel. So I want you guys to look at him now and get to know his face very well. So before we sign out, what do you have to say to them?
Well,
Or do you want to tell them you are single?
no,
what?
no, no.
Okay.
I'm still working on some stuff on myself. So, well, I would say if a bird land on a tree, does it trust his wing or does it trust the branch? You have to trust your wings, because whatever you are doing, whatever you want to do, you have to believe in yourself that you can do it. And sometimes people might not understand your own view or might not see the possibility of what you are saying, is because it doesn't belong to them. It belongs for you to see. So sometimes people might not understand the reason why you do what you do, but I just want to say keep going. The dream is meant for you and not for them. The reality, the future will tell and will show to everyone why you saw it in the first place.
Those are some great words. So each time you hear people say, a wise man once said, just come back to him. A wise man just dropped some nuggets and some words of wisdom. So I hope to see you guys some other time. So remember to subscribe,
Yeah.
share, like, and comment under this video. So see you guys later. Ingat.
All right.